Hey there, this is Marissa with Marissa Moments Podcast, Healing While I Heal, where I share real life stories and their divine healing translations. So let's just get straight into it. Here's the thing. I've been a therapist essentially most of my life, right? Well, at least as far back as I can remember. Now, let me be clear. Because I do not have any type of PhD. I did not go to college in terms of getting a master's or anything further when it comes to clinical psychology or otherwise, right? Now, I do have a BA in psychology, but let's just be honest. A BA in psychology, at least from my standpoint, is just about as good as having a BA in theater, right? Because I can't really say that I've learned tons and tons in the area. I feel like I actually learned more in the school or university of life when it comes to psychology than I probably did when it comes down to my degree. Now, I'm also walking through my home and doing laundry while I'm talking about this because, real life stories happening in real life. So the sound of my voice is probably going to change because I'm going from room to room. But anyway, back to the point. So I've been a therapist all of my life, right? And when I say that, what I'm referring to is people coming to me with their problems, right? And with the expectation of solutions, or at least that's how I saw it, right? Because every time, if somebody says, well, what do you think? Or kind of that pregnant pause waiting for the response, I felt pressure to give the response, to offer some sort of tangible healing. And then even as I got older, and I'd say, I started going to therapy myself somewhere in my 30s. And even then I would share the events from being in my therapy sessions with others. So that way I felt like, okay, well, I'm healing while I heal. I was actually applying that notion and that mantra before I even recognized it as far as for Marissa Moments, my business, right? But anyway, the reason I'm mentioning this is because I ended up growing exhausted. I mean, spent. Stick a fork in me, I'm done when it comes to therapizing. I just made that up, but it felt right. When it came to therapizing other people, because how am I going to heal myself while I'm expending all of my energy trying to heal others? And again, this is not to put blame or shame on another. It is to take ownership and accountability of what I was doing. Now, of course, I went to a certain extreme because as one of my therapists used to say, Marissa, you don't have a gray area. You go black or white. There is no in between. Okay, side note, I'm working on it, okay? But I am who I am. Even though I am healing, who we are at our core is who we are at our core, right? But anyway, let's get refocused. The thing of it is, I ended up taking a step back. I had to. Because, we try to put up boundaries and say, you know what, I recognize and realize that us having certain conversations is putting a drain on me mentally, physically, emotionally, and I'm not in a place or space to continue these conversations. I'm not in a place or space to offer healing to anyone outside of myself because I'm in a very dark place right now, and I need to be dependent on self and God and spirit and Gaia and ancestors and all of that, so that way whatever semblance of energy I have in excess to me, I can devote to my family. And that wasn't received. Of course, the conversation didn't go directly like that. I'm able to come up with more words and be more eloquent in my delivery at this point. But that essentially was the message conveyed. And at the end of the message, it was, I don't know if and or when we can be in communication again. But in the meantime, I wish you healing. I hope and pray that you are able to work on yourself as I'm working on myself. And then maybe at some point we can come back together and meet in the middle and be better healed versions of ourselves, so that way we can present better to the people around us, right? And show my children and future generations that healing is possible, and that we do not have to continue to exacerbate and stoke the flames of the fire of generational trauma and all of these things, right? But again, coming full circle, I've been a therapist my entire life. When you grow up in a space of someone who has been through the hellfires and storms, but has not had the tools to heal themselves, or the knowledge or know-how to stop in their tracks and decide, make a really concrete decision and say, this cannot continue. I am not happy where I am, so I know things need to change. They can change. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been given this notion in the first place, right? When someone's sitting in that place and space and they just continue to run the hamster wheel of their hell circle, of their hell loop, then I have to step back. Now, I feel like I'm talking in circles at this point, but the bottom line to this bottom line, and the healing translation part comes in when you have to make a decision. And these are very, very difficult decisions. I'm not taking it with a grain of salt at all. These are very difficult decisions, and they're decisions that we have to stand by, right? Because it's easy to say, I have to step back, and then end up taking a step forward the next day, or the next week, or the next month, or whenever, right? Because that's the easy response. But the hard response is taking a real assessment of the situation and circumstance and checking in with ourselves, because I've been a therapist my entire life. Am I ready to be a therapist again? Or am I going to be walking into a situation and circumstance that allows me to just be me in a positive environment that is nourishing and flourishing? I don't know. Maybe there is no concrete translation to this, but the thing of it is we have to recognize and realize these specific moments, because the bottom line is, again, God, Gaia, Spirit, ancestors, angels, and saints, it doesn't matter who you refer to or how you refer to them. The thing of it is you'll be given a vision. You'll be given a moment of clarity, in several moments of clarity, really, where something doesn't sit well or something is perfect. And that's just confirmation. If it feels good or if it feels bad or however it sits with you, then those are specific moments that you're able to make decisions in your life to say, am I going to push forward with things the way they are, or am I going to do that hard stop and pause and decide I have to go in opposite direction, or I need to sit where I am in order to heal? These are all your decisions. These are all things that are up to you. I know it doesn't seem like it's that way all the time. Sometimes it feels like things are beyond you, things are out of your hands, but that's not the case. There comes a point where you just really have to reclaim your power. And as difficult as it is, you have to stand by it until you truly know, based off of your healing, based off of your own journey, that you're able to move forward. And then you get to decide which direction. But I'm not going to keep going on and on, because I've already rambled enough, and Lord knows I could continue, but I won't. So that's it. And if this message resonates, then that means it is for you. And if not, that's cool too. Just keep it pushing. Either way, I thank you for listening, and I wish you the very, very, very best day ever. Until next time, you know the vibes. Peace. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to check me out on all social media. I'm basically everywhere you probably shouldn't be. But when you look me up, just remember it is Marissa Moments, and that is Marissa with one S, because there is only one me. So until next time, happy healing.